Welcome to the Jazz Piano School Podcast, episode number 362.
Welcome to the Jazz Piano School Podcast. Learn jazz piano without all the guesswork. Now, your host, Brendan Lowe.
Welcome to the Jazz Piano School Podcast, where we have one mission, that is to help you achieve jazz piano freedom so that you can express your true inner soul and emotions instead of having to copy what others have shown you. Now, we do this by providing structured and organized jazz piano education on specific jazz piano tools that you can then take and use over any tune so that you have complete jazz piano freedom. Welcome to the Jazz Piano School Podcast, episode number 362. My name is Brendan Lowe, creator and founder of Jazz Piano School. Thank you guys so much for being here today. Thank you for listening, as always. It's been a little while. And I needed a little time off. And my wife gets a 2-week break in the district she teaches in for school. And so we were able to go away in March, which was really nice, take a breather. And I think a lot of my time was taken up from my mastermind program and different things I'm working on. We're working a lot on the website, upgrading a lot of different things in there. And mainly what I'm going to talk to you about today is upgrading my teaching plan, my teaching philosophy, my teaching plan for students. Now, this isn't a video tutorial. I'm actually not going to be playing the piano at all today because I really want to kind of lay out the vision. I want to lay out my vision for Jazz Piano School and what I've been reflecting on over the past couple weeks, the past month, that I haven't been doing any podcasts actually. And this has all stemmed from, what's the right word here? What's the right way to say this? Eliciting optimal results within jazz piano students. And, you know, I'm distracted right now because I'm going to sneeze. There it is. I'm a passionate educator for results within students. And I say that in a way that I don't like beating around the bush or delivering fluff. And I also have a difficult time giving students, this is going to sound maybe a little, I don't know, harsh, I guess, or rough. I have a difficult time giving students what they want to learn because you're not the professional, right? You can't play the way you want to play, and you just don't know what you don't know, right? And so I think a lot of educators run piano lessons in that way. And for some students, that works great up to a point, right? And I talk about this a lot. And if you've heard this rant, I apologize. It's going to lead somewhere, I promise, because I am really going to be completely overhauling Jazz Piano School in a huge way to elicit more results within students because I care. And it bothers me, like to my core. I mean, I go to bed. I'm a person here. You know, for a lot of you who don't know me, you just listen to the podcast. I go to bed. I wake up. I work throughout the day. You know, I eat meals. I live in a, 1,600 square condo. You know, not this huge mansion or anything like that. And I think about Jazz Piano School constantly. And I do lots of gigs, and I play, and I teach, and I got lots of passions. But the number one thing on my mind almost all the time is how to give students more results. Now, this is a struggling concept among educators. Like, how do we help students the most, right? And when I was taking lessons, I would walk into my lesson, and a lot of times, probably 9 out of 10 times, the teacher I would be studying with would not have a plan of action for me. They would not have a plan of action for me. And I get that. If this is the first time you're walking into a lesson, the teacher's never heard you, right? They've never heard you're playing. They don't know where you're at. So they don't know what to give you. But if it's been 4 weeks, even 2 weeks, and the teacher doesn't have a plan for you, and you're walking into the lesson, right? And I guess they're listening to what they kind of gave to you the week before, which is usually pretty gray, right? Work on this tune, try to kind of add some of the things that I showed you into the tune. You know, if there's no real plan, the majority of the time that I was walking in, the teachers were asking me what I wanted to learn in the lesson. What do you want to learn? What are you interested in? Ooh, did you like that improv sound? Do you want to learn improv? Do you want to learn comping? And again, like I would be saying, yeah, I listened to this Marcus Roberts album. What are these voicings? What is this lick? How do I get this comping strategy? Or like, how do I get this voicing? How do I do this improv line? How do I play solo piano like Oscar Peterson does in this track? That's the way most jazz lessons go. And a lot of the times it's actually even less than that. They'll put on albums, you'll listen to albums, and you'll say what you like, and you try a couple things, and it's like, it's very odd. It's a very odd feeling. There's a huge lack of structure. And I bet a lot of you out there can relate to that because I get emails about that all the time. Now, funny enough, membership websites in online jazz education and the invention of the internet and YouTube has not changed that at all. And it bothers me. Right? I'm going to be just completely frank with you. It bothers me because students, and even myself back in the day, I mean, like, I'm not that old. So I was going on to the internet to look for jazz piano stuff, you know, back in the, when I was in high school and college in early 2000s. And it's still a library of information. It's a library of information. So you are deciding what you want to learn. Like there's a, you know, if you want to learn funk, like a lot of students want to learn funk, or they want to learn jazz piano ballads, or they want to learn improv, right? And so you're making decisions based on what you think is best for you that's going to help you. And this gets you a little bit, it's like these are baby steps. Really, really tiny baby steps that light up chemical reactions in your brain like eating a bowl of ice cream. It helps for a second. You find a cool lick, you find a cool voicing, you learn it, and then what, right? And then what happens after that? Well, you don't know. You move on to the next thing you think you want to learn, the next desirable component of your musical journey, because you listen to an album, you get inspired by this Oscar Peterson track, and you want to learn that transcription of those couple measures that really moved your soul. Cool, that's great. I have no issue with that. But I'll tell you this right now. Learning those things is like driving in random circles, random path through the forest, having no clear goal, having no clear destination whatsoever, right? And this can drastically make you lost in your journey. So the thing that has always gone on through my head was like, I was always trying to create paths and structure in jazz piano school. And up until this point, it's been a journey for me too. It's business in jazz piano education online has been a journey for me. It's been an absolute journey. And I'm, like I said, I go to bed and I wake up and I'm always trying to think about you. I'm thinking about you. I'm thinking about how to hold you accountable, how to make the website hold you accountable, how to make you log in more, how to make you practice more, how to make you focus more, right? And how to ultimately, that's not the main goal, right? Those are the vehicles that I'm thinking about, and how to ultimately get you to play jazz piano better, right? To get you to your goal where you're sitting down and you feel fulfilled, right? You feel an emotional response because you're playing the way you want to. That's the goal, whether it's improvisation, solo piano, playing in a group with others. I want you to feel musical fulfillment and not frustration, doubt, right? And a terrible feeling of this isn't for me, or I should quit, or I'm not going to ever get there. I know those feelings all too well, and they are awful. They're awful. And you know what? Sometimes I feel that way in business as well, because I would love to have, I would love to find and land on a structural path, right, that students are using and, really locking into. And to be honest with you, I think that's what I've found. And that's the whole purpose of what this podcast is about. Because it's taken me like a decade. It's taken me a decade. I created the main course curriculum first. And then I started creating specialty courses. Now, the main course curriculum was like the ultimate jazz piano path. It included everything, right? In a sequential order from like stage 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's for like a pianist, a jazz pianist that wants to learn everything in jazz piano. That was my first initial reaction. Why wouldn't students want to learn everything in jazz piano? I don't know why, right? That was my young self back in the day, over a decade ago. And then I created specialty courses because there are some specialty topics that students might want to take on. I know you want to learn that Oscar Peterson solo, that Bill Evans, like how to play like Bill Evans. So that's what the specialty courses are for. They're for specialty topics that are like, you don't need to learn how to play like Bill Evans, but if you're interested, go ahead, right? If you move through the main course curriculum, you up your skills, then you can go and play like Bill Evans, right? And then I slowly added on some more bite-sized things. And by the time I knew it, Jazz Piano School had become huge, massive, overwhelming, right? To a fault. And that's the point I'm trying to get at right now, is that it's too big. It's too big. And part of the reason that I have created the proficiency courses is to scale all of the education that elicits the best results down into these small fundamental courses. Because in the past couple years, I've taught a lot of live programs online with actual students through Zoom. These programs are available to you right now. You can still join them. I'm going to continue to run them. I have my mastermind program, which is 9 months, allows you to work with me. And then I have my accelerator program, which is 3 months. 3-month blocks, right? A smaller investment, smaller amount of time, less commitment for a student that just kind of wants to, maybe work on 1 or 2 things and get their feet wet. And so throughout these programs and in my live teaching, I've learned so much. I continuously learn through teaching. And the things that I've learned are the systems that are now in the Proficient Jazz Pianist. And a lot of these systems are in my improvisation mastery specialty course. These systems are, I can say with complete honesty, the best systematic processes I've ever created to elicit quick, fast, easy results to get you to the goal that you want without any BS, without any fluff, without any feeling lost, feeling frustrated. It's boom, 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 boom. Here's level 1, take the test. Here's level 2, take the test. Here's level 3, take the test. Each component is small and easy to learn. It does require practice, but the components are very, very easy, simple, small. And you build on top of what you learned in the previous level to a point where it's sounding great and it cuts the fat out. That's why it's so effective, so optimized. This proficiency course has only come about within the last year because it's the culmination of all my learning as a teacher, right? Throughout the years of me teaching, throughout the past few years, 3 to 4 years of running live teaching programs with jazz piano students on Zoom. For my mastermind, it's been 9 months, working with students 9 months continuously, right? This has taught me about systematic processes that are the best in jazz piano school. It's also taught me about focus and putting blinders on, because I realize that students, the number one culprit to your not getting where you want to be in jazz piano, and you're reaching your goal and, receiving amazing results, I'll tell you what the number one reason is right now. I promise you, it's distraction. It's distraction. It's distraction on what you're focused on. And I ask this question: how many students can say you actually practice something till you know it so well that if you go into my proficiency course and take a test, you pass? Right? And now I know a lot of you aren't members yet, but what these tests are, they're essentially playing tests for tools in jazz piano that you need to know like the back of your hand. 99% of students that I listen to or see cannot pass these tests because they move on too fast. If I give you something to learn, like rootless voicings, 99% of students cannot pass my rootless voicing test because you're moving on to something else too quickly. You go on to improv, you go on to YouTube, you go to the next video, you search the membership that you're a part of for another topic, bass lines, funk, voicings, ballads, hand independence, right? You're moving all about. Now, does this take discipline? Absolutely. It takes massive amounts of discipline to help you stay focused so you're not jumping around. Is it fun to stay on one thing for weeks at a time, months at a time? No. And I'm not trying to strip the fun out of learning jazz piano. That's not what I'm trying to do. But is it also fun to actually get results after 5 years of not seeing the way you want to play? After 7 years, after 10 years? That, I promise you, is going to feel way better than just learning a new topic. When you are actually able to finally play the way you want after all that time because of something that I told you to do, and you're like, oh my God, he finally unlocked the puzzle. He finally cracked the code for me. That fulfillment, that joy, I promise you, that's going to be the best feeling you've ever had in the entire world. Through music. There's rare experiences in my life that I imagine feeling when I enter the state of bliss of absolutely being completely in music. My soul is engulfed in the music where all my thoughts melt away, all my worries melt away, and I am in this state of what I might call like nirvana, playing music. And I think that students love jazz for this because we're not reading notes anymore. We're not reading, we don't have to like worry about like notes on a page. We are just creating from the inner depths of our emotional soul. And to have an outlet like music, like jazz, to be able to do that, there's people in the world, and I know the non-musicians out there, who aren't listening to this, they can't relate to this at all. The people who kind of go to work, sure, they have other things they might find, but there's nothing like art to bring as a creative outlet for people's soul, right? So that's the point. That's the goal I'm trying to get you to. I want you to have these experiences. And when you're distracted, like I said, the number one thing that takes students away from that is distraction. You never reach that. Long story short, jazz piano school is too big. It's too big. What I'm going to plan on doing is I'm actually going to make it smaller. Now, here's what's going to happen. In the upcoming weeks, I'm going to go over my jazz piano kind of learning tree. I've developed a learning tree, and this has been a lot on my reflections over the past couple weeks. I've taken a break. The learning tree is a visual tool that shows you exactly what you might want to learn, goals. Like I've been talking about my goals. If you've been listening to me, goal number 1, if you want to play with other musicians or competent band, that's goal number 1. Goal number 2, solo piano. Goal number 3, improv. Everything you need to learn falls into one of those goals. The goal isn't to learn drop twos. The goal isn't to learn an altered scale. That's not your goal. Remember that. Those are tools to get you to your goal. Your goal, the most desired goals I've heard by students over the past 30 years of teaching. Yes, I did start teaching when I was like 13. So I guess 28 years. Are those 3 goals. Students have come to me and said, Brendan, I want to learn how to play in a band or play with other musicians. Great. Brendan, I want to learn how to play solo piano because I stay in my house and I just play for my family, my friends, my spouse, for myself. Great. Brendan, I want to learn how to improvise because I want to learn how to make up improvisational lines. Great. Now, there's a lot of misunderstandings within those goals. People ask me, Brendan, can I learn how to improvise and play solo piano? Yes. Well, there's certain components that you need to know. It brings you down 2 completely separate paths for certain skill sets and tools that you need to be able to accomplish these goals. It's really hard for me to explain it here on the podcast without a visual aid. And that's what I'm going to be releasing to everyone, is this visual aid for everyone. And this is going to become the new structure for Jazz Piano School and all the education that you can receive. Now, current members and lifetime members will continue to have access to everything. If you're a Lifetime Elite member, you'll still have access to everything. Don't worry. The only thing that you'd have to pay on extra for is my live programs, because that does require my time and my team's time, because we're there teaching you in person. You get live review and assessment from us and Q&As and things like that. But just to work on the self-study material in the new structure that I'm going to be laying out, that, for members, current members, you'll be grandfathered in. But for new members, you're going to receive this different type of structure in Jazz Piano School, and the pricing will actually be lower. Now, the Jazz Piano School membership is going to be focused on community, help, and the proficient jazz pianist, along with teaching you and showing you and explaining to you this tree of learning. Because the tree of learning, is really how your mind starts to comprehend the paths that you need to take to reach your goal. Until you do that, no matter what membership you go in, no matter how much you go on YouTube, right, you're going to be lost constantly. And I've joined so many memberships. I join memberships constantly to check them out, right? I joined Piano with Johnny, Piano with Willie, Open Studio Network, because I love seeing what other educators are doing. I promise you, this information that I'm showing you, it's next level, right? It's groundbreaking, because it's literally going to be a flow chart for you. It's like a matrix flow chart that you can look at and visualize the tools that you need to spend time working on. One of the things that all my students ask me is, Brendan, what do I need to work on? What should my daily regimen be? What should my daily practice schedule be? No one knows. No one really knows. Right? Even when you join a membership, you don't really know what you should be practicing, because you're still jumping from course to course. Now, do they have practice exercises in the course? Yes. So you can kind of follow the course on improv, but what's the whole picture? What's the big picture for your jazz piano journey? If you don't want improv and then you jump to something else, it's like, well, what do I need to learn here? Where are my holes, right? There's so much that you're missing out of the equation, in the library method of jumping about from course to course inside a membership. It just doesn't work. It really doesn't work. And that's what I've been reflecting on. And I mean, students lose motivation. They lose the fun. They lose the joy of it, because, they can't see the big picture. They really can't see where it goes. And I'm really trying to correct that. And I feel inspired right now, because I've been reflecting on this, because I took some space to really think about this and lay out the journey of the student, so that you really understand, this is the path that you want to walk down. These are the tools that you would need to learn to get to your goal. And ultimately, you can just follow along the path to get there. But it also shows you the other paths. Should you want to connect things or work on some other goals? So I'm excited. I'm actually cutting the fat. I'm cutting out stuff from the membership because it's too distracting. It's too distracting. Now, the membership, like I said, is going to be light. It's going to be light and dense in light. Does that make sense? It's small and dense. So the jazz proficiency, the proficient jazz pianist is dense, and it includes the most what's the best word here? Powerful? No, the most, I'm trying to find a good word and I can't. The most useful, I was trying to find a more heavier word. The most useful components for the beginning stages of jazz piano. And like I said, I still don't see students really nailing these tests, and I would love to see that. And I want the students to be extremely focused on these, because I promise you, I've done the tests, I've done the data on my live programs through my live teaching. And when students do these exercises, when they get them up to this certain level, they're amazing, absolutely amazing. They go from 0 to 500, and they're playing the way they've never ever thought they could play before. So I'm going to make the membership smaller. I'm going to make it cheaper. It's going to be focused on support from me and my team, help, community in this path, teaching you about this path with courses And when I say courses, just 3 particular courses. Really, it's going to be like 3 particular courses. The Proficient Jazz Pianist, which is going to focus on your goal of how to play in a group, your goal of playing solo piano, and your goal of improv. Now, again, like I said, within those categories, there's lots more categories, right? Because in solo piano, there's 3 different styles that I'm going to teach, right? In improv, you can play bebop or modern improv or blues. There's so much to learn in improv, right? So by having this flow chart, the tree, it's going to spider out, and you're going to see exactly what you need to do to get to those points, right? Now, outside the community, I'm going to have courses that go deeper into the goals that you want, right? So there's essentially, you can graduate to the courses and add them onto your account if you'd like. And these are going to go deep, deep, deep into those categories. But the categories are going to stay small. Like, they're going to still stay within the goal of playing and comping in a band or solo piano or improv, right? So it's going to be, the lawnmower is coming up outside my apartment, my condo. It's going to be really, really structured and focused for students. Now, I know some students like the jump around thing. That is still going to be available in some capacity. I'm still kind of figuring this out, what to do with the main curriculum, how to break it down, how to make it available for students. But I really think that this next step, this next iteration of my Jazz Piano School learning system will be the absolute best I've ever created. And for you specifically, not even for me, for you to learn. And the fact that the beginning stages that I have been eliciting so many results, like to join the membership, it will be cheaper. Like, that's amazing for all people. And then if you want to upgrade into the higher ed courses, you can do that. And again, it's going to be simple. I had one member email in, or one student. I don't know if you can hear this, but literally the leaf blower is right outside my window. Very, very annoying. I had one person, I do these sales and promotions during big sales times, Memorial Day, Black Friday, stuff like that. And some person went on, and there's so many courses for sale, right? There's so many courses for sale. And she's like, this page was way too overwhelming. I don't even know what course I need, right? Yes, exactly. And I'm like, duh, Brendan. Like, how is a student supposed to pick this? Because it's not, all courses are not on people's goals. Like, when you go to buy a course, you're not thinking, oh, I want to learn, like you might be, I want to learn drop twos, or I want to learn the altered scale or improvisation, like out improvisation or reharms. I get that. I get that what you want to learn. But is that your goal? No, your goal is that you want to be able to sound a certain way in a certain environment, meaning you want to be able to sound better when playing solo piano in a modern style, or you want to be able to sound better in your bebop improvisation in a solo piano style, or you want to be able to sound better in your ability to comp and support a group in an old school style, right? So what does that require? Because a lot of students will go on and buy courses that doesn't even relate to the goal that they have, to the environment and the destination they're trying to get to. And that's sad, right? Because essentially it's a waste of money. So I'm really trying to correct that. I'm reflecting on it. And I promise you, as I start to roll out this new tree of learning and flow chart, essentially, like it's going to be like more of like a matrix, right? This is going to completely debunk and demystify so many things for you and make you really tilt your head, cock your head, and be like, oh my God, like, wow, like I've been spending so much time on this and I never even needed that. But if I do want to do that in the future, I know what to do, right? And then the next step is obviously just the learning. You're just going to need the education. But really, the first step is really understanding the learning flow chart for how you get to your specific goals and how you continuously make them better. Okay? So I wanted to hop on here and do more of an audio podcast. This wasn't a video podcast, but just do an audio podcast for the listeners and the fans and the followers to kind of let you know what's coming, right? Because this is all going to be rolling out slowly, and I want you to stay up to date. The mastermind is finishing. And we're going to be taking the summer off, but a lot is going to be in progress, right? So if you are interested in working with me or my team for the mastermind, the new mastermind or new accelerator program in the fall, please go ahead and join the email list. You can go to jazzpianoschool.com/email list, right? Email list. So there's a double L in there, EMAILLIST. jazzpianoschool.com/email list. Join the email list. You'll get access to all the information I'm talking about, all the information about the accelerator program, the mastermind program, and further information, just free content, honestly, free educational content that I send out weekly about the gigs that I have, improvisation, comping, voicings, all that jazz, right? I give so much. And then just, again, let you know about these new educational items that are coming out so that you can take advantage of all that and continue to make the most amount of progress possible. Okay? So, wow, I'm about to hit 30 minutes of talking. That's crazy. I guess that's what podcasts are for, right? Hope you have a great day. If you have any questions, please let me know. Please write into support@jazzpianoschool.com. I see all the tickets. I will respond to you, and I'll answer any questions that you want. That's the best way for me and my team to organize the questions that come in. Please do not email me personally, because it's really hard to keep track of that. I get so much junk mail in my email, and again, things slip through the crack. But our ticket service filters out very, very well all the junk that comes in, so we're able to see all the questions easily, organize them, keep track of the pending responses and everything like that. So support@jazzpianoschool.com is the best way to get a hold of me. Again, I do check and read all the tickets, so if you do want to get a hold of me, you can do that there. With that being said, I hope you have a great rest of your day. I'm excited for the future of Jazz Piano School. Very, very, very excited. Things are moving along here well, and I know it's going to make a huge difference in your jazz piano journey for you. So with that being said, I'll talk to you later, and happy practicing.